What is up, everybody? Today video we're going to be talking about steps to self-love, your self-love blueprint, plus stay to the end for a secret weapon to take your badass life to the next level.
I almost said that, to take your badass life to the next level. But good morning, Nima Walter. I almost called you Walter, Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, you guys. We are so happy to have you with us. As you guys come on, say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're from so David can figure out where he is in the world, because sometimes he doesn't know. Right. So if you are watching this live, please put hashtag #LiveTribe.
Or if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag #ReplayFam.
So for those of you that are just getting to know us, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
I'm
SenRoseGarden.com, helping people create
badass life. Just never gets old, right? So
not for me.
I'm pretty excited about today. We're going to lay down our self-love blueprint, which is kind of the steps to a self-loving life. I say a lot. I noticed on my playbacks.
That's okay.
Yeah. Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, Nima,
Tammy, Ryan, and Nima. And Ryan.
Nima you get twice.
Yep.
Ryan you get 4 times. Okay, before we get started on the self-love blueprint, on the steps, I want to ask you a question. As always, I like to see what's going on in your brains. Do you think
that you can truly have compassion for others,
but still have no idea what self-love is? And as you guys are thinking about that question, because I know one of the common myths in the self-growth community is you have to love yourself before you love other people. And I don't think that's true. To some degree, you can up your game always, but I want a quick show of hands. Who online here just finished our self-love challenge in our private group coaching masterclass group? I want to know who finished the self-love challenge.
So let us know in the comments if you were on that, if you were part of that live studio audience when we recorded the course. Let us know. So
for those of you guys that are in the group coaching closed group, some of this is going to sound familiar to you, but we want to let other people know what's going on in that
we want to give some pieces to the public pieces.
I want to ask you a question just to make sure that you were in the right place, because I don't want to waste anybody's time. Have you ever struggled with kicking your own ass? And you can raise your hands on this one.
Right.
Low self-esteem.
Any lack of self-love.
And like hideously neglectful self-care that would shock even the hardest, grittiest inner city social worker. Have you ever done that? That's extreme, but have you ever struggled from kicking your ass?
I don't know about the hideously neglectful.
Well, I'm just,
But yeah, I mean, you like to take it to the extreme.
I do.
So if you have ever struggled with kicking your own ass, having low self-esteem, that lack of self-love, then you're in the right place.
Right.
If you do not need to be here. If you have so much self-love and experience so much self-care on the daily that you never question yourself.
You never kick your own ass, and you live in a bubble of nonstop, non-drug induced. Neither of us can say drugs because we're not
non-drug induced pure bliss.
Okay, so
if so, you shouldn't be here. Matter of fact, you should probably be teaching us.
I'm going to read the comments real quick and see what you guys have. Hands up. Yes, guilty.
Live tribe, self-love.
I'm an ass kicker. Yes, hands up. Yeah, we've all put our hands up on that because we're human.
Absolutely.
Right? So I love that. But we're going to get into a little bit of help for you.
Right.
Because I think this is something we're all through our lives want to up our game around, right?
Yep.
So we all know, let's give you a little bit of, we all know, I don't know what that means, but I just said it. We all know that self-love is the answer to all of our problems, right? But the real problem, the real problem is that no one seems to know what the steps to self-love really are. So here's the thing.
You can only buy so many crystals, salt lamps, and you can only meditate for so many hours a day to lift and raise your vibration.
Right. So, but at the end of the day, what are the real self-love steps? So we thought you needed a blueprint. So here it is.
Well, not needed, but could use.
Could use it.
Everybody could use a little guidance along the way.
So we're going to break down the key self-love steps you are probably missing to creating a full self loving life, as we like to say at ZRG, so you don't
Right.
go broke buying Nag Champa and ayahuasca trips trying to vibe yourself into true self-love. Okay.
So today we break it down. Those steps. We break down those steps to a stable, self-loving life today, here, now.
You don't talk so much.
Yep.
When?
You don't talk,
don't
so,
talk
much.
so much.
You're so pretty.
All right. He's okay. It's
Okay.
going to be a word thing today. I can tell. Okay. So let's just get into it, and we're going to outline it and take some quick notes. This is going to be rapid fire.
Step 1, physical self-care.
So self-care in general, and I like to see what other people are doing whenever we create our lives. And I kind of cruised around the internet and saw people's 50 things you can do to increase self-love. And pretty much they're all self-care based, physical self-care based, which is often confused with self-love.
So self-care consists of the acts that help us to stabilize self-love.
But they're not self-love itself. Okay. So this could be anything from getting a massage to eating healthy to buying a salt lamp or going to the gym or going to your ayahuasca trip.
So yeah, we're not saying don't buy salt lamps and that salt lamps aren't effective.
Because they absolutely are.
They absolutely are. But don't become dependent upon that to show you self-love.
Because physical self-care can be a Band-Aid, right?
Yes.
So physical self-care helps you stabilize the work of getting to self-love, which are steps 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Okay? So step 2.
Step 2 is loving others.
Okay, so loving others, first of all, it stimulates endorphins. It gives you a physical rush, and it feeds that primal being of wanting to belong to a tribe or a pack, and shows us how we want to love others and how we want to be loved.
However, we can also get addicted to loving others and that feel-good feeling. And that's when we become the overextended helper, lover, loving everybody in our life so much that we neglect ourselves.
Hashtag people pleaser. So
Hashtag too much.
So loving others, big red flag for you is if you have often fallen in love as the compensation for emptiness, loneliness, or shame even, then you're doing it the wrong way. Okay, so raise your hand if you've ever fallen in love. It's a Band-Aid for not loving yourself enough. Can I raise 2 hands?
Been there, done that. Had the t-shirt.
I got the t-shirt. I got the tattoo. Okay, and I was going to say something horrible, but never mind. Imply.
I'm like, the only tattoo you've gotten was with me.
Fill in the blank. I'm being metaphorical. I'm being metaphorical.
I know, I get it.
Roll with me. So
I'm rolling.
Here's the thing that you can forgive yourself for. You just wanted to be loved and validated.
So much that you fell in love just to fall in love because you didn't know any different. And
as they say, you were blinded by love and didn't see the reality of the person that you fell for. There wasn't quite the right person that was loving you back the way that you needed to be loved. And these are the steps of love, right? And I don't think you can bypass these steps. No. We all have to fall.
But I want you to forgive yourself for that element because it was a step that you needed to get to know what it means to actually love and care for yourself.
That's right.
So stop kicking your ass for it, for having those wrong relationships and bouncing from person to person without giving time for yourself. That's okay. Just break the habit. There you go.
So I want you, heads up, attention. These next 2 steps cannot be skipped on your journey to self-love. Okay?
Do not bypass these next 2.
So these 2 next steps are the mental and emotional battlefield that stands between you and your full self-loving life. Ready?
Okay. Just going to leave that right there.
Okay. So step number 3.
Stabilizing your self-esteem.
So children begin their journey of self-esteem or to self-esteem based on other esteem. And this is okay unless they never get it from someone else. Like, you're great, you're doing a good job. If they don't get it, then they don't make that journey to self-esteem.
When you come into the world as this child, as this baby, you are literally dependent upon others for your literal survival. Okay. As these others step in and show you that you're safe and actually provide for you that kind of love and care, and you're doing good in the world, you get fed, you get loved, you get nurtured, you get everything that you need, then you develop a solid self-esteem.
So what happens is when they don't get it,
Right.
some of us don't get it, they might never become emotionally self-reliant.
Right.
Unless, as an adult, later
Mhm.
they do something consciously to gain that self-esteem for themselves. Many of us have to do that in our adult life, right? Raise your hand.
Or at least pieces or parts of
Or
it.
pieces of parts. Raise your hand. So,
And the other thing is realizing that true, genuine self-esteem is not based on what others think of you, because it's self-esteem.
self-esteem, right?
But you have to first go with what others think of you
Right.
as a stepping stone. That's why these are steps to loving yourself.
And that's why we have support groups, right? And that's why we get on these lives and be like, go team.
Right.
So we're going to tick off the steps of what self-esteem looks like. So basically, it's what you think of yourself,
right,
at the end of the day.
And you may think of yourself very well in others, have great self-esteem in some areas of your life, but not in others.
So self-esteem can fluctuate up and down. So
Right.
it can be something that is not totally solid your whole life. So it can fluctuate as things go bad, you get a little bit discouraged. But if you have good self-esteem, you'll return to feeling good about yourself faster, because we all have a down day, right? Like,
And you'll think that you're okay despite any losses, any mistakes, any missteps, any rejection, anything that happens in your external world. You've got that sense of, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to make it through this. I don't know how. I don't know what's going on. I know there's a lesson in it, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to be good from this process.
So like we say, upping your self-esteem is a process of, when you get triggered, going into the triggers and working out those dark places. And every time you go make that journey into healing some part of yourself, your self-esteem baseline gets higher, and
you feel more confident.
And the bounce back is faster.
Yes.
Okay.
The bounce back is faster.
So
step 4.
Self-acceptance, which is a little different than self-esteem, believe it or not.
Accept
yourself. We're
RESPECT ACCEPT.
I'm not letting him wear this today because it might get crazy up in here.
It's already crazy up in here.
Okay, self-esteem can go up and down, but self-acceptance is steady and unconditional. So see, where if you kind of get your self-esteem to a certain point before self-acceptance kind of kicks in.
Right.
As a solid.
Self-esteem is the foundation upon which you build your self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is that place where you accept yourself despite your flaws, failures, and limitations.
You have the ability to overcome guilt and shame quickly, or you don't even experience them. You just assess and move forward.
Right. And I wanted to talk about guilt and shame for a moment. Guilt is what you feel yourself. Shame is what is put on you.
Right.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that. You also get to this point where you stop comparing yourselves to others, positively or negatively. And you appreciate your individuality, how you show up in the world as this beautiful snowflake that you are.
You are a beautiful snowflake.
I absolutely am.
Starfish. So I want to go back to that. You stop comparing yourselves to other people positively or negatively.
Right.
That doesn't cause your self-acceptance to go up and down. You may admire other people and say, ooh, I like that. I'm going to borrow that. Or I like that, what they're doing. But you're not comparing yourself in a way like, oh, they've got their shit together and I don't. It's not positive, or I'm better than they are.
Right.
There might be a comparing an assessment for I can improve there.
Yeah.
See what I mean? There's a difference. It's subtle, but it's so vital to that base self-acceptance.
Assessment is much different than comparison. Right. Okay. If you're caught in that comparison loop, you're probably not at the level of self-acceptance that you want to be. If you're assessing, you're going, okay, how am I fitting in the world? How am I in respect to the world around me? Okay. Then you bring it back to yourself rapidly and quickly. You also feel that you're enough without having to prove yourself. And this goes back to the positive or negative comparison. Okay. Right. You're not doing your life for anybody else. You're not doing your life to be better than anybody else, or because you feel worse than anybody else. You're good doing you. Do you, boo.
So basically, you feel that you're enough. You don't have to prove yourself. You're not constantly running around trying to prove yourself to other people. You're trying to prove yourself to yourself.
Yes.
So
and you're not even proving yourself. You're just being yourself.
You're being yourself. You're challenging yourself. You're working on excellence, not perfection, because I think perfection is a brain fuck that makes you trip on yourself because I'm not perfect yet.
You're never going to get there.
You're striving for excellence always.
That was Matthew, by the way. the starflake.
He is my starflake. So in that, you stop worrying about what other people think, because if you're not trying to constantly prove your worth, you're not worrying about what other people think, which frees you up to become more spontaneous, more authentic, and more natural. And you can wear a pink boa on camera live and not worry about what other people think of you. Like, how does this outfit go together, right? Army hat and WA and a pink boa. It works.
Yeah. It does. It does. You also have no guilt, or don't let shame affect you, or any fear of revealing yourself or need to hide yourself.
Because, we fall on our faces all the time on camera.
Yeah.
So the
I fall on my camera
the
all the
royal
time,
we, the royal we, the collective we.
The royal we says.
Okay, so self-acceptance. And let me wrap this up for you in a pretty pink boa. This is one of the most vital steps to intimacy in all types of relationships,
including the one with yourself.
Right.
And think about that. Every relationship, in order to become intimate, to go deep, to reveal yourself completely, you have to first accept yourself. Then that becomes an extremely intimate experience with those close to you, because you get to be yourself without fear.
And if they like it and they don't, that doesn't matter, because you love yourself.
Yep.
Okay, so step number 5. And this is often a step that people start with first. And really, these aren't linear steps, because our life's not linear, but we like to make them linear because it's a list. So step number 5 is spiritual self-care. We started with physical self-care, and we're going to end with spiritual self-care.
So what makes you feel good and stabilizes all of that hard work?
So spiritual self-care to me means what it means to me, but it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. But to me, it means including some type of communion between yourself and that larger energy of everything,
regardless of what name you put on it. Okay. And for you, it might be standing on the top of a mountain and feeling like you're a part of the mountain, but also supported by it in some transcendent, magical way. Be the mountain.
That's a new
transcendent.
Transcendent, I think what I'm trying to say.
Transcendent.
Okay, is it just me, or is whenever I say something about standing on top of a mountain, voodoo child pops into my head?
That's just
me. Okay.
Today, that's just you. Unless somebody in the comments says,
Okay, so for other people, it might be meditation. It could be prayer and epic journey to keep you reminded of that connection to your greater energy. Whatever that spiritual self-care means to you,
for me,
it means to you.
Right. And for me personally, one of the biggest moments of that spiritual self-care and that feeling that I kind of connect to when I need a little pick-me-up is that feeling of being out in the middle of nowhere with no lights around. And we're in Vegas, so this is a very, significant moment. When you go out in the middle of nowhere and you just look up at the stars and that big wide sky, and you see all of the stars turn on, even though they've been there the whole time. You see them, you connect with that, you become that big thing in the world, in the universe, and you also become that little minuscule piece of the world in the universe.
So it's mind blowing, right?
That to me is an amazing experience, and I kind of tap into that whenever I need a boost.
So you can have the physical self-care that you start off in step 1, and that's the acts of self-love, the massages, even your yoga practice, and the spiritual self-care, which is the connection with something larger. Those are the bookends to the self-love blueprint, the self-loving life. The self-esteem, the self-acceptance, and loving others in a healthy way are the 3 really important pieces that fit in. That's the meat of the sandwich, or if you're vegetarian, the avocados, or vegan, whatever it is. Erin, tell me, what do you eat in your sandwiches? So that's what you need to have a healthy, full meal. Got it?
Of life.
Is that my good
meal
analogy?
Of life?
So
go.
I want to drop another question for you now that we've sort of outlined these 5 steps.
Can anybody tell us the difference between self-pity and self-compassion? So let us know what your idea of that is in the comments.
So in the comments, what is the difference between self-patty cake?
Self-patty
cake is when you're like, so that's self-patty cake.
One, yeah.
So the difference between self-pity and self-compassion. I want to know your thoughts in the comments.
Right.
So let's talk about self-love.
Wrap it up in a bow.
Wrap it up in a pink boa.
Yeah.
We're wrapping everything up in a pink boa today.
So to recap, self-esteem is an evaluation of yourself in each moment and your level of emotional resilience that determines how fast your self-esteem bounces back.
Right. Self-acceptance is an attitude, and let's make up my bow on
Diva.
apparently.
Diva.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love, however,
is a feeling and an action. It's not selfish or self-indulgent. It is self-fulfilling. Your own prophecy, baby. I don't know where that's going. It just came out like that.
I don't know.
I love it.
Okay,
I love it.
so self-compassion. I'm going to look at your comments in just a second,
Right.
because I'm really curious to see what you say. Self-compassion, the self-compassion that comes from living a true self-loving life, allows you to witness and accept your own feelings and actions, and have understanding for yourself as you would for another. Because, like we said in the beginning, you do you feel like you can have compassion for others, but not for yourself?
Right. So this is where you get to the point where you can flip it around and have it for yourself, which the byproduct of that is you're more easily able to have it for other people. That's
why loving others, that second step, is really important, because we're learning our self-compassion by being compassionate for others, unless it becomes an addiction.
But you have to become, that's where you become self-aware and you flip it around and you do it for yourself.
So self-love
enables that faith and courage to take risks, overcome setbacks and sorrows, and you know you're going to survive. I will survive.
Well, I love myself because I understand that a pink bow with an NWA shirt is a fashion risk, but I'm taking it, boys and girls.
Is it? Yeah, so you're going to survive despite any present freak out emotions, because you can still have these emotions of freak out. You're going to have those and they're going to come out, but if you experience that full self-love, you can bounce back and realize this is a state of your existence. This is not the complete existence.
So in a pink boa, you cannot develop this if you are constantly seeking validation from others.
Yep. Get to the point where you learn self-love and start applying what you're giving to everybody else to yourself.
So that is the blueprint. And for you guys today, we have, because we like to give the group, the collective Zen tribe of the world, a free download, free gift. We've got this self-love checklist in the comments. You can click it, download it. You don't have to put in your email or anything. It's just free for you, because we want to like give everybody's self-love a boost. So let us
check some comments and see what's going on.
Let us look at the comments, and I want to hear your thoughts about self-love, self-compassion.
Okay, so let's see what we got. Paint your toes red. Awesome. David, you just sang what I was thinking. Awesome. How fast the bounce back is. Free state of mind. Beautiful snowfish. Matthew, you are definitely a starflake.
I agree with that statement.
And Ryan, you are a beautiful rainbow snowflake. You get to be anything you want. Let's see. You look fabulous, Heather. We are our only competition. Marina says that outfit is about right, in my opinion. Oh, dang.
I think so. We're going to go down a little bit further.
Truth bomb, boom, boom.
People get stuck in pity. Okay.
Marie says pity, low vibration, judgy.
Yeah, and you're judging yourself, right? So self-pity is you're judging yourself. So stop that right now.
Get out of that party. Lorena says people get stuck in pity. Absolutely. Compassion to see your need, recognize, and respond.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can see your need when you're compassionate. And dun dun. Rebecca says, pity, you feel sad. Self-compassion, you see a way forward.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's great.
I think we're going to leave that right there. So I like that a lot.
Right.
Okay.
So you just learned your self-love blueprint.
So we kind of already gave our secret weapon. I just let it out of the bag, which is this free download for you guys. We're going to try to give you a checklist every week, so you can kind of have a little journal of how your self-growth is going. And we do love to hear back from you and let us know how it's going for you.
But we do have some other secret weapons, and we're going to drop those right now. We want to see where you are. If you want to be part of our virtual studio audience, we've got our next group coaching masterclass where we recorded this entire masterclass here. And if you want to be a part of that live studio audience, as we do this every month on different topics, the next one coming up is going to be on life purpose. You get 5 hours of intense group coaching with guided meditations and all of the previous masterclasses. You heard it here first. This is the first time we're letting anybody know what you're actually getting. Masterclass. So on the monthly membership, you get all of our previous that are valued at $150 a piece. They're fucking insane. Anyway,
preface that
do it.
whole statement.
Please
He's
do.
like jumped in. Here's what we got going on. But I want to preface that and pretend like David said nothing, and then just remember it again.
That's a good one.
Before we get into that, what I wanted to kind of break down to you is kind of, we think a lot about our clients' journey and where they are in their self-growth. And for years we've coached privately, we've taught privately.
For over 10 years,
and for the last 2 years, we've kind of decided to go more global and have more fun with it and reach a lot of people and meet more people. Really, that's the selfish part for us, because we like meeting new fun people.
Yes.
So we've created sort of different groups and platforms for different people who are on a client journey with us to join us online globally around the world. So
wherever they are on their particular part.
So our coaching masterclass that we created with us, which is a 5-day intensive every month, and a group that supports it, that's ongoing, to work on different, deeper self-growth topics. And this is a place where we get emotional, we get personal. You get to see a different side of us that you might see David cry a lot. You might even see me cry. I've had some moments. And we do intense meditations, which you don't always get to have on lives with David.
And this is also a way to kind of take our 10 plus years experience and bottle it up into these, because each month is a real live experience for a part of your life that really we love. We love helping people break through those blocks and break through those things that are holding them back. And this is a great way to do it in a very, very, very intense way.
So that group coaching masterclass is kind of our more intimate group where we've made it a really accessible for just about everybody to do. And we're excited because the next one's coming up at the beginning of February. So if you want to get in on that, the link is down there in the description. If you just want to come get to know us a little bit more and get a bunch of free cool stuff, we've got our Badass Life Boot Camp where you can get to know us, hang out with other Zen heads, and get free self-growth tips every week and free self-growth resources abundantly.
And talking about the client journey, the next step to that would be our Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy. This is where we've got a lot of stuff in there. We've got a lot of teachers in there. But the biggest part of the Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy that I personally love is this is where we start doing our super intense courses. So our intuitive development courses. And we use the Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy as our live studio audience for all of those courses. Those are our bigger, more intense courses.
So that's where we have our staff of coaches and teachers, and they teach a variety of different things. But it's also where we get deeper into, we just started our mediumship course yesterday. And a lot of you here are on that, which I'm really excited about. But now it's time to do a giveaway, because we like to do that every week. We're going to give away a 3-month free membership to one person for our Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy. So let us see who David has.
So the winner for the 3-month Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy is Ifioma C. You've just won 3 months to Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy, which includes our psychic development course, which is, I think it's 8 steps to psychic development for beginners.
It's 8 classes.
8 classes, 8 hours of psychic development for beginners, and being a live studio audience member for our intense advanced mediumship training.
So you can go and basically binge watch all you want for 3 months and see how you like it. And we would love for you to join us. So,
and I think we might be having some video issues, but some people are. If you can, refresh and see if that fixes it.
Okay.
So if you like this video,
hit the like button.
If this video helped in any way, share it with a friend.
If you have any questions or comments, leave them below wherever you are watching us from, and we would love to hear from you.
All right. For more badass life tips,
be sure to subscribe
and click the bell to turn notifications on
so you're the first to know
when we drop a new video
or go live.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you guys in the next video.